Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. And change begins with one decision. That's it. One decision. Not 10. Not 20. Just one. You don't have to change everything overnight. You just have to make a choice. A bold one. Everything in your life can change. For the better, the moment you decide. Now, let me ask you a question. And don't answer it too quickly. What's the one decision you've been avoiding? What's the one choice you know in your heart would change everything, but fear or doubt or delay has kept you from making it? Because the truth is, this indecision is the enemy of progress, not failure, not rescission. And success begins the moment you say, this is it. I'm done waiting. I'm done wishing. I'm done hoping. I've made up my mind. That's where power begins. That's where your transformation begins. You see, we don't become successful by accident. We become successful by design. And the blueprint, it always begins with a bold decision. So if you're ready, not just to hear another motivational message, but to truly change the course of your life, then lean in. Listen carefully. Because today, I'm going to show you how one bold decision, just one, can transform your life forever. Let's begin. If you don't like how things are, change it. You're not a tree. You see, it's easy to settle into routine. It's easy to tolerate what's familiar, even when it's not what you want. But here's the truth, nothing changes until you decide to change. Not when the economy improves. Not when your boss finally notices your effort. Not when the timing feels perfect. No, it starts with you. It starts with a decision. One moment in time. One shift in your thinking. And suddenly life begins to turn. I remember when I was 25 years old, broke, behind on my promises, full of excuses. And then I met a mentor who asked me a question that hit me like a ton of bricks. He said, Jim, how many books have you read in the past 90 days? I said, none. He said, then that's the problem. I wanted success, but I wasn't prepared to become the person who attracts success. That day I made a decision, a simple one, but it changed everything. I decided I would become a student of life, of success, of personal growth. Your life can change in an instant, the instant you make a decision. And the same is true for you. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to have it all figured out. But you do need to decide. Decide to take your life seriously. Decide to stop tolerating average. Decide to stop living in reaction and start living by intention. Because when you decide, the world responds. Now, let me make something clear. A decision is not a wish. It's not a someday hope. A decision is final. A decision is action. A decision is commitment. It says, this is who I am now. This is where I'm going. And nothing is going to stop me. And once you truly decide, your mind goes to work. It begins to seek answers. It begins to attract opportunities. It begins to filter out the distractions. Why? Because your life will always move in the direction of your strongest decision. Not your strongest desire, your strongest decision. There's a difference. Desire wants it. Decision chooses it. Desire is interested. Decision is committed. Desire waits for the right time. Decision creates the right time. Without a sense of urgency, desire loses its value. Now, here's the powerful part. You're always one decision away from a completely different life. The decision to take care of your health. The decision to walk away from what's no longer serving you. The decision to invest in your skills. The decision to believe in yourself. Finally, it might not be easy, but it will be worth it. Because when you make a bold decision, you take back control. You stop waiting. You stop wishing. You stop wandering. And suddenly, the direction of your life begins to shift. Not overnight, but gradually, steadily, powerfully. That's how the turning point begins. Not with luck. Not with fate. Not with chance. But with a decision. Your decision. So let me ask you again, what's the decision you've been avoiding? Because it might be the very thing that turns your whole life around. The cost of not making a decision is far greater than the cost of making the wrong one. Indecision. It's a silent killer. It creeps into our lives stealing time, opportunities, and potential. And often, we don't even recognize its impact until years have passed. Let me ask you something. What has indecision cost you? It's easy to dismiss, isn't it? We think, well, I'll make a decision later. The time isn't right just yet. But what we fail to realize is this: the time will never feel right. And the price we pay for waiting is much greater than we think. You see, indecision doesn't just delay our success. It holds it hostage. It binds us to the status quo. It keeps us stuck, unable to move forward. There's a powerful truth I've learned over the years: indecision is worse than making the wrong decision. Why? Because at least with the wrong decision, you learn something. You adjust, you pivot, you grow. But with indecision, nothing happens. And that nothing adds up. Over time, it builds into something much worse than regret. It becomes despair. The despair of wondering, what if I had just taken the leap? The despair of seeing others move forward while you remain stagnant. The despair of realizing that years have passed and you're still in the same place. Think about it. How much longer are you going to put off the decision you know you need to make? What we are is the result of what we've decided to do and what we've not decided to do. Every day you delay, you are making a decision. A decision to stay comfortable. A decision to keep things the way they are. A decision to avoid the discomfort of change. But the cost of that comfort is high. What could you have achieved by now if you had made that decision sooner? Where could you be? What would you have learned? Who could you have become? The only way to do great work is to love what you do. But you won't love what you dog unless you decide to love it. You won't find your true calling unless you decide to seek it. You won't create the life you want unless you decide to build it. But here's the catch: inaction doesn't just cost you time. It costs you confidence. It costs you peace of mind. You start to question yourself. Am I doing the right thing? Should I have taken that opportunity? Is it too late for me? And as you wrestle with doubt, your momentum stalls. You become paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong choice. You second guess every step. And eventually, you make no steps at all. Indecision doesn't just freeze your actions. It freezes your growth. Do you see it now? The price is much greater than we realize. Because every moment of indecision is a moment of missed opportunity. Let me give you an example, even though you've probably experienced this yourself. Let's say there's a business opportunity you've been thinking about for months. The idea is sitting there waiting for you to take action, but you keep putting it off. You tell yourself, maybe next month. I need more time to think about it. I'm not sure I'm ready. Well, here's the harsh reality: someone else will take that opportunity. Someone else will make the bold decision. Someone else will do the work. And in a year, you'll see them flourishing while you're still stuck in the same place. It's not that they were smarter or luckier than you. It's that they made a decision, and you didn't. The key to success is to focus on goals, not obstacles. But if you don't decide to focus on the goal, those obstacles will keep you trapped. Now, I'm not saying making a decision is always easy. It's not. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it involves risk. But it's always worth it. You see, success doesn't belong to the person who waits the longest to make a decision. Success belongs to the person who makes a decision, then learns and adjusts along the way. If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll wait forever. If you wait for all the stars to align, they never will. You have to decide first, and let the rest follow. Here's what I've learned: the moment you decide, the universe responds. Opportunities you never saw before begin to show up. Your energy shifts. Your actions align with your desires. And success starts to find you. But you can't wait for success to come knocking at your door. You have to make the first move. You have to decide. Decision is the master key to all success. So let me ask you again, what's the price of indecision in your life? What is it costing you? What dreams are waiting on the other side of your decision? The longer you wait, the more you lose. The longer you hesitate, the more you settle. The longer you stay undecided, the further you get from the life you truly want. It's time to make the decision. Because every moment you wait is a moment of your life slipping by. And the cost of indecision is far greater than the cost of any choice you might make. So, make the decision today. Momentum breeds success, but it starts with a single step. Let's pause for a moment. Think about the word momentum. What comes to mind when you hear it? Perhaps a runner pushing forward on the track, or a snowball rolling down a hill, gathering speed as it goes. But here's the truth: momentum isn't something you wait for. It's something you create. It begins with one decision. One bold move that sets everything into motion. The difference between where you are and you want to be is what you do. Now, let me ask you, when was the last time you took that first step? When did you make the decision that propelled you forward? Because here's the thing, a bold decision is like a spark. It ignites the fire of momentum in your life. Think about it. When you make a decision, it's as if you've set an intention. Your mind starts working in your favor. It starts searching for solutions. It begins to pull in the resources, the people, the opportunities you need. But here's the catch: momentum doesn't happen by wishing. It happens by doing. You have to take that first step. You have to commit. You have to follow through, even when it's difficult. And that, my friends, is where many people fall short. They make a decision, but they don't act on it. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions. And as a result, momentum remains just out of reach. But here's the thing you must understand: a momentum doesn't wait for perfection. It only waits for action. Let's take a look at some of the most successful people in the world. What do they all have in common? They didn't sit around waiting for the stars to align. They made a decision, and then they took action. They took the first step, no matter how small, and they let momentum carry them forward. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. Notice the word progressive. Success doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small, consistent steps. When I started my journey, I wasn't sure where it would take me. I wasn't sure how it would all work out. But I made a decision, and that decision gave me the momentum I needed to keep going. At first, it felt like a small step. One book, one meeting, one conversation. But over time, those small steps built on each other. And before I knew it, I had built a life of success piece by piece. You see, it's not the giant leaps that create momentum. It's the small, consistent actions. And those actions only happen once you make a decision to move forward. The greatest day in your life and mine is when we take total responsibility for our attitudes. That's the day we truly grow up. Now, let me tell you about momentum's greatest power. It makes difficult things seem easy. It makes the impossible seem possible. Because once you begin to move, the world moves with you. Have you ever noticed how, after making a decision, things start falling into place? You meet the right people. The right opportunities arise. Ideas begin to flow, and before you know it, you're on a path to success. But it all starts with that first decision, that first step. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. When you begin to take action, you begin to grow. You start to become the person capable of handling the challenges ahead. And here's something I've learned about momentum over the years. It doesn't require perfection, but it does require consistency. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to have it all figured out. But you do need to keep moving. If you wait for everything to be perfect, you'll never move. But if you take that first step, even if it's a small one, momentum will build. It'll build with every book you read, every conversation you have, every decision you make. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction. And momentum isn't just about making progress. It's about creating progress. It's about taking control of your life and saying, I'm moving forward no matter what. Now, don't get me wrong. Momentum doesn't always feel easy. It doesn't always come quickly. But as long as you keep moving, it will build. And that's the key. The secret to success isn't in a single breakthrough moment. It's in the continuous, relentless pursuit of your goal. And that pursuit begins the moment you make a decision. Success is not to be pursued, it is to be attracted by the person you become. When you make that bold decision, you set in motion the person you will become. You set in motion the growth, the learning, and the transformation that will carry you to the life you've always wanted. So, here's my challenge for you. Take that first step. Make the bold decision today, and let momentum take care of the rest. Because once you start moving, there's no telling how far you'll go. The day you make a decision is the day your life begins to change. Have you ever had that moment? That defining moment where everything shifts? A moment when the decision you make today sets the course for the rest of your life. It doesn't always feel dramatic at first. It doesn't come with fireworks or applause. But deep down, you know it's a moment that will shape your future. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. I want you to think about something for a moment. What decision in your life had the most profound impact on you? Was it the choice to start that business? To go back to school? To leave a job that wasn't serving you? That decision, no matter how simple or complex it seemed at the time, was the turning point. It was the moment you decided to take control. It was the moment you chose to stop being a passenger in your own life and become the driver. Success is not a matter of luck. It's a matter of making the right decisions at the right time. The truth is, one decision can change everything. And I'm not talking about a decision that only affects you for a day or a week. I'm talking about a decision that creates a ripple effect in your life. A decision that years from now, you'll look back on and say, that was the moment things began to change. Let me ask you something. Have you ever hesitated? Have you ever faced a decision and thought, what if it's the wrong choice? What if I fail? I understand that feeling. But here's the truth. The decision itself is not as important as the courage to make it. Your life is the sum of the decisions you make. Every decision you make today is adding up to the life you will live tomorrow. If you want to change your life, change the decisions you're making right now. You see, it's not the grand gestures or massive leaps that lead to change. It's the everyday decisions that, when made with intention, lead to extraordinary outcomes. The decision to wake up an hour earlier, the decision to pick up that book instead of watching TV, the decision to walk away from toxic relationships and create space for positivity. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. The most powerful decisions are often the simplest. And when you make that decision, when you step into the unknown and say, I'm ready, something magical begins to happen. You begin to grow. You begin to develop the skills and mindset necessary to handle the challenges that will come your way. But here's the key. Once you make that decision, you cannot go back. You cannot unchoose the path you've chosen. And that's a good thing. Because that decision is your commitment to your future self. I remember when I made one of the most significant decisions of my life. It wasn't easy, and it certainly wasn't without its risks. But when I made it, I knew something had shifted. I knew that I was no longer the person I was before the decision. I had stepped into the person I was meant to become. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. When you make that life-changing decision, you start attracting the right people, the right circumstances, and the right opportunities into your life. The universe responds. But it only responds once you've made the decision to change. The decision to change is the decision to take responsibility, to stop blaming the past, to stop complaining about circumstances, and to stop waiting for things to magically fall into place. Take responsibility for your own life, and you will be amazed at how quickly things begin to change. The most profound decisions are the ones where you look at your current situation and say, this is not my destiny. This is not the life I was meant to live. and you make the conscious choice to do something about it. I want to tell you this. It doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter what your past looks like. What matters is the decision you make today. That decision will define the person you become tomorrow. When you make that decision, you become a different person. You become someone who takes action, who moves forward, who learns, and who grows. The more you know, the less you need. The more you do, the more you become. And it's through those decisions that you begin to craft a life that reflects true potential. So, I encourage you today, don't wait for the perfect time. There will never be a perfect moment. The right moment is the one you create by making the decision to act. Your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. Make the decision now. The decision to stop procrastinating. The decision to take that first step. The decision to believe in yourself. The decision to create the life you've always dreamed of. The life you're living today is the sum of the decisions you've made in the past. And the life you'll be living tomorrow will be the result of the decisions you make today. So, make the decision that changes your life forever. Because today is the day that your journey begins. The power to decide is the power to transform your life. Think about it for a moment. The power to transform your life lies in one thing, and one thing only: your ability to decide. That's it. It's the decisions you make today that shape the life you will live tomorrow. Most people don't realize the significance of their decisions. They go through life making choices here and there without fully understanding the weight those choices carry. But every decision is a small turning point. Every choice is a seed that you plant in your life, and the fruit of that seed will grow in the form of your future. You don't get paid for the work you do. You get paid for the work you decide to do. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't often comes down to the decisions they make. The decision to work harder, to learn more, to push through challenges. The decision to get up when life knocks you down. So, here's the question: how powerful are your decisions? Let me ask you, when was the last time you made a decision that truly changed the course of your life? Think about that. And I want you to consider this: the decisions you make in the next hour, the next day, the next week, they will impact your life forever. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. This is where the true power of decision lies. It's not about making one big, grand decision. It's about making the right decisions consistently, day in and day out. It's about the small choices that add up over time. When you decide to commit to your health, you take action every day. When you decide to invest in your personal growth, you read, you learn, you apply. When you decide to improve your relationships, you put in the effort. The key to transformation is consistency in your decisions. The greatest gift you can give someone is your time. When you decide where to spend your time, you decide what you become. And over time, those small daily decisions compound into something remarkable. But here's the thing: you are the sum of your decisions. Your decisions define you. They define your work ethic, your mindset, your relationships, your financial future. Every single aspect of your life. What we get will be the result of what we give. What we do is a direct reflection of what we believe. If you want to transform your life, you have to start by deciding to transform. It begins with a conscious, deliberate decision to take control of your destiny. No one can do that for you. No one can decide for you. It's your life, and the power to shape it lies in your hands. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, and it certainly doesn't come without effort. But when you decide, when you make that bold, conscious decision to change, it sends a signal to the universe. It says, I am ready. I am committed. And that decision begins to change the way you see the world, the way you see yourself. Suddenly, you stop seeing obstacles as barriers, and you start seeing them as opportunities for growth. You begin to embrace the discomfort, because you know that transformation doesn't happen without challenge. The few who will do what is necessary to achieve their goals will be the ones who reap the rewards. When you decide to act, when you decide to make your dream a reality, you don't just think about it. You act on it every day. And the more you act, the more confident you become. The more you learn, the more you grow. There's a power in decision that you cannot underestimate. You may have heard the phrase, what you think, you become. But let me tell you, what you decide, you become. The person who decides to be disciplined will become disciplined. The person who decides to be courageous will become courageous. The person who decides to live with purpose will live with purpose. You are not a product of your circumstances. You are a product of your decisions. If you are unhappy with where you are today, I want you to understand that change begins with a decision. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's not about waiting for someone to give you permission. You are the architect of your future. Your life is built one decision at a time. Every choice, every decision you make is adding up. And those small, consistent decisions will eventually lead you to the life you've always dreamed of. But here's the catch: when you make a decision, you also have to make a commitment to follow through. A decision without action is simply a wish. But when you follow through on your decisions, that's when the real transformation happens. The price of neglect is always greater than the price of discipline. If you want to transform your life, you must make the decision today to take control. You must make the decision to be disciplined. You must make the decision to work hard, to stay focused, and to never give up. When you do, you will look back one day and realize that the life you are living now was built on the decisions you made yesterday. And the life you will live in the future will be the result of the decisions you make today. So, I ask you, what will you decide? What transformation will you commit to? Your life is waiting for your decision. And the moment you make it, everything will begin to change. The key to your future is hidden in your daily decisions. The power to transform your life is in your hands, and it starts with a decision. So, decide today. Decide to take action. Decide to commit. Decide to transform. The decisions you make today will shape the life you live tomorrow. It's in your hands. As you walk away from this message, remember, your life is not a product of your circumstances. It's a product of your decisions. Make them count. Choose wisely. And begin today to transform your future. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you create the life you deserve.